Hey guys, Fnaf 22 here with our video, and in today's video I want to talk about a video game that I've been really enjoying recently. I want to talk about Dead by Daylight.
But I heard it. Oh my god.
Who's my good little kitten?
Now, for the few people who don't know and who may be asking, what is Dead by Daylight? Let me tell you, Dead by Daylight is a 4v1 asymmetrical multiplayer horror game where one player takes on the role of a savage killer and the other 4 players act as survivors attempting to escape, or as I would define it, as peek. Now, recently I've been really enjoying Dead by Daylight, but obviously this wouldn't be a Fnaf 22 video if we weren't talking about Five Nights at Freddy's.
Czy to Freddy Fazbear? Oh.
Now, if you guys don't know, last year Dead by Daylight and Five Nights at Freddy's did a huge collab which had a outstanding love from both communities, as Dead by Daylight hit its absolute highest peak in the game's whole tenure when Springtrap released as a brand new killer in the game with a brand new map and many brand new skins that everybody was loving. And because this collab did so well, so many different communities from FNAF, Dead by Daylight fans, and even the creators of Dead by Daylight behavior have said they want to do another collab with Five Nights at Freddy's, and that they definitely will in the future. So in today's video, I thought let's take it back to like an OG YouTube style feel. Let's do top 5 FNAF characters I want to see in Dead by Daylight. Now, obviously, with this list, I'm not a game developer. I don't know a lot about making a video game, so obviously I wouldn't know what would be balanced, what would be too hard, and obviously this is all just my opinion. I would love to hear your guys' opinions in the comments down below, but just because I want one character doesn't mean you have to want that character. These are just cool character concepts I thought of that I want to explain in today's video, so let's kick things off with my 5th character, which is going to be Funtime Freddy from Sister Location. Now, I just think Funtime Freddy would be such a fun character to play as in Dead by Daylight. He could use Bonbon as his attack because every killer has a basic attack where they swing something like a knife, chainsaw, whatever it may be, and then they have like special abilities that they can use as well. I think it'd be really funny if his basic attack was just swinging Bonbon and having Bonbon like scratch the survivor as he like wipes him off or whatever it may be, because after every attack obviously there has to be some kind of delay to give the survivors a chance. And then I think for Funtime Freddy's special ability, he could throw Bonbon. Now obviously there's 2 different ways you could do this. You can make it to where he like launches Bonbon off his hand and Bonbon flies at the survivor and either like sticks onto them or knocks them down or whatever it may be, and then Funtime Freddy has to go and collect Bonbon. Or you could kind of make it like a twin situation where he could drop Bonbon on the ground and then you get to control Bonbon as he runs around chasing survivors, where then he can either attack them or lock onto them to make them slower. Either way, I think it'd be a really fun concept to have Bonbon and Funtime Freddy in this game, and I think it'd just be so cool to hear Funtime Freddy's iconic voice line as he's throwing Bonbon at you.
Hey, Bonbon, go get him!
This would just be such a fun and scary character at the same time, because obviously these are huge animatronics that have got mini animatronic puppets chasing you around, and very cool voice acting. I would love to see Kellen Goff return, but obviously this would be kind of a silly and goofy character as well. Now, I couldn't really think of any cool perks for Funtime Freddy, but for some skins I thought of a few ones that could be cool. We could maybe see a Count the Ways skin, which is a more kind of rusted, destroyed version of Funtime Freddy from the books. I also think it'd be really funny if we got like a custom Dead by Daylight skin where he's in German clothes to call back to the original voice of Funtime Freddy, which was supposed to be German. I think it'd be really funny if Kellen Goff did all of the lines in that skin in a German accent. I just think that'd be really cool and such a cool Easter egg for FNAF fans. And then I also think it'd be really cool if we could get like a legendary skin which changes up their appearance to look more like Yendo, where he could be a more Endo version of Funtime Freddy, and maybe we'd even get like a little Endo Bonbon to go in his arm. I just think that'd be such a really cool concept for Funtime Freddy. Now, the only reason I have him at number 5 as in my least wanted in the top 5 is just because I feel like he's kind of a basic character. I would just love to see like his voice acting in this game and just love to see him in the actual game itself, because I love Funtime Freddy as a character, but obviously his ability is nothing too crazy and his skins wouldn't be anything too crazy. His ability is nothing really new because like I said, we do have the twins which do the exact same thing. It's just the only thing I could think of, but I would still love to see Funtime Freddy in this game. He could be such a fun and cool killer. Now next up at number 4, we got the original Fnaf 1 Foxy. Now a lot of people really want to see Foxy in this game. Out of all the characters I've seen like protested to be a new killer in Dead by Daylight from Fnaf, it's always Foxy, and one other guy we'll talk about a little bit later. But I think Foxy would be a pretty fun and cool killer. Obviously his basic attack would just be like a hook slash. Obviously there is no killer in Dead by Daylight that has a hook weapon, so this would make him kind of unique, but I think his ability would be kind of a fun one, but also kind of a mix-up of a different one. Now we do have a lot of abilities where the killer like charges at you or runs at you or does something brutal like that. I think his ability would obviously have to be like a running slash with the hook, but to make it fun, I feel like he could do the original Fnaf 1 Foxy run where he kind of lifts the hook up and he runs at you. If he slashes you and hits you, it's either like an insta-down or a deep wounded attack, which would make it obviously a very strong attack. But I think a very fun mechanic to this is if he runs into a obstacle, instead of having like the basic collision where he hits the wall, kind of has a little delay, I feel like it should have a really big delay to kind of make it like a risk-reward system, where yes, if you run at the survivor and you're able to hit him successfully, you're going to insta-down him, but at the same time, if you run into a wall, he just ends up like smacking the wall a few times, kind of like he does to the door in Fnaf 1. I feel like that'd be a really fun way to make this killer unique, so he's not just another run and slash killer. I feel like this just adds to his character. It makes sense since he does it in the games. I just feel like this would be kind of a fun and, like I said, unique power for Foxy. Now, once again, I couldn't really think of any perks for Foxy. Maybe you get perks that make like the collision thing a little bit, the collision delay a little bit of a slowdown, but then again, that kind of ruins the power. So I don't really know, honestly, on the perk side. But for skins, obviously, there's lots of different skins. You could do a Withered Foxy, Nightmare Foxy, Rockstar Foxy. There are many different versions of Foxy you could do as a skin. I just feel like he has to have a hook because obviously that'd be part of his main power and main attack in this game. But I still think it'd be really cool to see Foxy in this game, and I only have him at number 4, even though he's a very requested character, just because once again, his ability isn't anything too crazy, and I've got 3 other characters that I would rather see. Now let's move on to the top 3, where we have my girl from Fnaf 6, Scrap Baby. Now I thought about adding Circus Baby from Sister Location, but I thought it'd be cooler to add Scrap Baby since she's a more scary and menacing Fnaf character, and I feel like her attack and abilities could be way cooler. Now I feel like her basic attack would have to be with that scissor hand she's got. That'd be a very unique weapon just because no other killer in Dead by Daylight obviously has a hand that's a giant scissor. So I think that would be so cool to see in this game. I think her slashing with it and as the blood kind of drips off, or you know, the catch-up for YouTube demonetization. But I just think that'd be a really cool basic attack, as well as her ability. I thought of something kind of unique, kind of fun. What if for her ability she starts to charge up her rollerblades that she has on her feet and she starts chasing down the killer? And I know what you're thinking, another chasing character. Yes. But instead, this one, as she chases them down, she's very off balance. Now, a lot of the chasing characters are kind of like, you know, they jump and they lunge, but you can't really move as you lunge. You're kind of stuck in a one-shot position. I feel like with her, it'd be more fun if you could move around, but because she's on rollerblades, she's a little bit more off balance. I just feel like it'd make a new version of these chase killers, and I just think it would make her really fun, but also very challenging, as she'd be more of like a, you have to understand how to play the killer to get very good hits and very good insta-downs. I feel like it could be a fun version of like that chase unique power. Now, like I said, nothing really crazy there. I just think it'd be cool to have Scrap Baby. She's a more scary and menacing version of Circus Baby. And obviously, there's not very many skins you could do for Scrap Baby, which would be a big letdown just because a lot of them would have to be like Dead by Daylight originals since she's only appeared in one game. But I do think it'd be really cool to get a blighted version. Now, if you guys don't know, in Dead by Daylight, the Blight is like one of the main characters, and he causes this infectious disease on them to blight them. Springtrap even has a skin of it, and I'm sure there's lots of videos out there that describe what the Blight does. I just think it'd be really cool to have a blighted Scrap Baby costume, as I feel like it'd even make her look more menacing. So yeah, I just think Scrap Baby would be such a cool character and fits the game of Dead by Daylight, but obviously I still have 2 more characters that I'd much prefer to see be the second killer. Now, besides Foxy, the most requested killer is probably my next one, which is the Mimic. Yes, I know, the Mimic meme. Oh my gosh, okay, brain rot. Anyways, the Mimic would be such a cool concept for this game because he would actually be like Springtrap, which means he would fit in this game as a real killer. The Mimic is kind of a weird, creepy character in Fnaf, and obviously a newer character in Fnaf, but I think if their base style was based off like the newer Secret of the Mimic look, which would be very cool, and I feel like their attack could just be like a basic basic slash with their endo hand, like kind of like a claw attack, which would look really, really cool. But this is where it gets interesting. I think I thought of such a cool and peak ability for the Mimic. Now, what if on the map you spawn, and kind of like how Springtrap has all the FNAF doors, you have different Mimic costumes from Secret of the Mimic and from Murray's Manor, and they're just all sitting around in different areas. And what if when the Mimic downs a survivor, instead of hooking them, they can put them in one of like these spring lock costumes? Now, this wouldn't be anything too crazy, as the pig already has like the reverse bear trap, and I think the Pyramid Head has an ability where they can lock him in a cage. But what if, here's the thing, you can put them in the Mimic costume, which causes them to slowly, you know, get spring locked, and they have to do different like quick time events. But you're probably asking, why would I do that instead of just hooking them where I can hook them a few times and they die? What if they don't escape the suit in a certain amount of time, let's say maybe 2 or 3 minutes, they insta die, where they don't get any other lives, they're just instantly screwed? But obviously other survivors can come and get them out of the suit and help save them. But now you're probably thinking, how does this help the Mimic at all? Well, obviously if they don't get out, they're insta dead, which would be a kind of like a risk reward type gameplay. But what if also the Mimic can hide in these suits, and a survivor may like go check the suit for another survivor, and then out of nowhere you could pop out and either get a really good hit on them and deep wound them, or even get an insta down. Like I said, I'm not a game developer, so this may be super duper OP, but I just feel like this would be such a fun gameplay loop. I feel like it adds such a new, unique style to a character. Obviously no other character in Dead by Daylight plays like this, and it wouldn't be anything too OP. I just feel like this would be such a cool concept for a character. And then for perks for the Mimic, you can maybe get ones that make like the timer go down faster, maybe make the spring locks harder, maybe make you more undetectable. I don't know, there's lots of different perks you could do, and I just feel like the Mimic would be such a fun killer in Dead by Daylight. Now, for the Mimic's costumes, it would be kind of hard to think of some. Like I said, we are using the newer version of him, but we could get the OG Mimic look from the Security Breach game, which would be alright, nothing too crazy. And maybe we could get some Mimic costumes from the Manor, but that wouldn't really make sense if his ability used those costumes, as make it too confusing for gameplay. So I don't really know what the Mimic's costumes would be like, but obviously I still have one more character that I would like to see just a little bit more than the Mimic. Now, even though I think the Mimic was my best idea in this video, he's not the character I want to see the most. Of course, if you guys are a longtime fan of this channel, you know I want to see Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy is my favorite FNAF character of all time, and I think I've thought of a pretty fun gameplay loop for him that would make him kind of unique and just a fun, like, go-around character to play. Now, I feel like his basic look would just be the basic Golden Freddy from the FNAF 1 game, maybe like with Behavior's own like touch of details, because they make really great character models. And for his basic attack, I would just have him do a swing animation. Maybe he kind of like glitches and contorts after his delay, just as to add something unique to it. But for his ability, I would do a jump scare ability. Now, I feel like it would like charge up. Maybe he would just poof into just the big head from FNAF 2, and he would launch at the survivors, maybe hitting them and causing an insta down, and doing the original FNAF 1 Golden Freddy jump scare noise, which would be so peak and so terrifying to hear from a distance. Now, I know this kind of sounds like just a basic killer, but I feel like that's all Golden Freddy would need to be, and I would just love to see like his aura and his presence in Dead by Daylight. I feel like he could be such a cool and fun like basic killer that I would love to have him. And obviously his skins could be so cool. You could do Withered Golden Freddy, you could do Fredbear, you could even do a Nightmare Fredbear one if you really wanted to, which would be so terrifying. But I just feel like Golden Freddy could be such a fun all-around character, and of course, me being the biggest Golden Freddy glazer, I would love to see him in DBD. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you always be notified from when I drop another video. And like I said towards the beginning, let me know in the comments down below what you guys would like to see from a FNAF X Dead by Daylight Part 2. I know a lot of people want to see Foxy or the Mimic, but I would love to hear any other options here, what your guys' thought process of these characters could play as. I just think it'd be so cool to hear all that in the comments down below. And of course, maybe let me know some perks these characters could have, since I wasn't the greatest at thinking of any. But yeah, guys, once again, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed. I just wanted to mix it up with a little bit of a different video and do a top 5, because it's been a while since I've done like a top listed video, and I've been really enjoying Dead by Daylight with friends, so I thought might as well just bring it up. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed once again, and I will see you guys in the next one. Deuces.